OP09 is coming out this week, so I'll be making day 1 deck profile videos for each of the new leaders until the official release day. That means one video every day, and we'll end this week with an unboxing video for OP09. I've uploaded the Shanks, Lame, Buggy, and Luffy day 1 deck profile, so you can check it out if you haven't. And now we are moving on to the second last leader of OP09, Nico Robin. To be honest, I haven't done any testings with her, so I asked my friend to share with me his day 1 deck profile, and I'll talk about it. So starting off with the leader, Robin is a purple-yellow straw hat leader. She has the keyword BANISH and has an on-attack effect. By discarding one card with trigger, you get to ram one Rested Dawn. This is similar to how RP Uta works. That BANISH keyword on the leader is also really strong because each time an attack connects, your opponent loses resources, and on top of that, we all know how strong the yellow top end cards are, like Yamato and Ace. With the addition of Ram, it's gonna be really powerful. The strategy of the deck is to control the opponent, making them lose resources by controlling their board and hand cards. So how you want to control their hand cards is by poking with your leader constantly while using your characters to get rid of their attackers. So here's the list that my friend is running. He is running Professor Clover. His effect is on play if your leader is Nico Robin, check the top 3 cards of your deck for a card with trigger. This Professor Clover also has a 2k counter. I think aside to the big bodies in your deck, all the other cards in the deck has trigger. His trigger effect is just activate his effect. Next is 4 copies of Nico Olivia, another 2k counter with the effect on play, give your leader Nico Robin plus 3k. Her trigger effect is if your leader is Robin, draw 3 cards and discard 2 cards. So similar to Shirahoshi. This card is great for pushing in for game because by playing her down, that's equivalent to attaching 3 dawns to your leader. Her on play effect is also not limited to during your turn. So if you are able to cheat her out during your opponent's turn, your leader will get that 3k buff for the rest of that turn. Next is 4 copies of Onami. She's in here mainly for the trigger to KO 5 cost or lower. Running her is definitely a good idea. So her on-play effect giving Banish is also good since there's an additional threat of losing more resources. Of course, it won't give the Banish to your leader, so the target will usually be your characters. Next is Capone Beige. I think at this point this is a yellow staple, so we don't have to talk about him. Next is 4 copies of Bonnie. This card is good both when she's triggered or on play. Early game, I think your opponent will be heavily guarding against your attack. However, mid game or late game when your opponent is out of resources, you'll be drawing often from Bonnie's effect. Her trigger effect lets you draw 2 cards and discard 1 card. Next is 4 copies of Frankie. Trigger effect is draw 1, then if your life is at 1, you can play him out. Next is 4 copies of Nami from Egghead, a really good removal card with also good trigger effect, gets rid of the opponent's 5 costs and lets you draw 1 card if you have 3 cards or less in hand. Next is the new Robin from OP09, a really strong addition for yellow, so he's running 4 copies of it in the deck. On play effect, if your opponent has 3 or more life, trash the top life. By doing this, you are denying your opponent resources. You don't want your opponent to get any cards from their life. So this Robin in combination with your leader's Banish, your opponent will definitely have a bad time getting resources. Her trigger effect is play a cost 3 yellow character. So if you happen to trigger this Robin from your life during your opponent's turn, you can play Olivia out to give your leader plus 3k during your opponent's turn, or you can also cheat out your Bonnie. Next is 7 cost Mum. I believe this is a flex slot because previously he was running the 6 cost Mum, which on play lets your opponent choose whether they discard 2 cards or trash 1 life. But I think he decided to go for this option mainly because it's still a strong card. It doesn't require you to discard a card. So running 2 7 cost Big Mom. And finally, the last 2 characters of the deck, it's not yellow if you're not running 4 Yamato and 4 Ace. Moving on to the events, we have 4 copies of You Are the One Who Should Disappear. Triggering this at your last life will always be satisfying. Next is 2 copies of 2 million Volt Amaru. This card helps to rest your opponent's blocker when you are pushing for game. And Amaru plus Olivia gives you so much value for your leader because that's a plus 6k for just 3 dawns. Finally, the last card of the deck, and again, I believe this is a tech slot. So the effect is KO a character based on how many life your opponent have. Really good removal for early game or when you're starving the opponent. The trigger effect is just activate the main effect. So that's the purple yellow Nico Robin deck. The deck seems annoying and a pain to deal with. There are so many triggers and the top end cards are also problematic. Aside to getting banished, you also have access to ramp and healing. Robin will definitely be good in the upcoming metagame, though I'm slightly worried for the matchup against Rush decks. Let me know in the comments if you have any suggestion on how to make this deck better. And looking at it, it might be possible to run Vegapunk package or even a Straw Hat one. Overall, really excited to see how this deck does next format. And with that, we've completed 5 leaders, down to the last one. And of course, for the next video, it will be for Marshall D. Teach, aka Blackbeard. If you've enjoyed this video, drop a like, subscribe to the channel, share it to your friends, and leave a comment. Also, follow me on Twitter or X for more One Piece card game content. And as always, thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.